in trading, no matter what instrument you're trading, there is a spread to that. If it's real volatile and very liquid, it's a tight spread. If it's volatile but not very liquid, it'll have a wide spread. So some stocks are better than others, and we do have a rule for what we like to see. Right here, this is the option chain, right? Pretty self-explanatory for the stock option side. Underneath this arrow, you have parentheses, right? Parentheses mean how many days till expiration. I don't know why this is here or this is here. That should not be here today. This or tomorrow, this should disappear as well. And that brings us this one. Tomorrow will then be 0. This is how many days until expiration. Another common question I get, well, how many days do you take on a day trade? And it's a catch-22, and I'll explain that next. When I'm personally day trading, I'm going to put DT. DT. When I am day trading, I take same day expiration, which will be where the star is at. Or if you like to be safer, you could take the following expiration where the circle's at. Well, what's the difference? Well, the difference is that when the same day expiration, you might pay $1.50, which is $150, but that same option contract over here with 4 days might be worth $250. So you got to pay $100 more for the one that has 4 days of expiration versus the one that has 1 day or 0 days expiration, right? The catch is this right here. When the same day that they expire, if it does not move in your favor real fast, you're going to have a variable. It's called time decay. Your option will lose value, right? Nothing that you could do about that. Also, if you're in a trade and it moves against you and the range is real wide, that also eats into your option premium. So when it comes back to the same exact point of where you bought it, then you're going to get hammered. So for this example, I'm a visual guy. If you look where the star's at, let's just say we bought calls right here where my circle's at, which means we make money when the share price goes up, right? So let's just say we bought a same day expiration right here. Same example, $150. We'll price one, and let's just say our stop loss was right here. So our stop loss did not get hit, and let's just say our take profit would be right here. In this example, it taken 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, 5 hours, 6 hours. This would be the very end of the day. Well, guess what? You were right, but since it went against you 2 whole dollars, right, and then it took the rest of the day to come back up, then essentially you probably lose this trade, meaning your $150 might be worth $50 or $75 or even $100. You take a loss. If you bought a contract that had 4 days of expiration for $250, up at this point, your $250 might be worth $300 or $350. So when you buy more time, you have a greater advantage in your favor or a higher probability to win that trade. That is also why you pay a higher premium, right? So that's always something to think about when you're day trading stock options. If you want to be safer, you go the following day's expiration. If you want to go risky like me, I trade same day expiration. Now, when I take the weekly hit list, I buy 2 weeks of time. So I'm going to say HT, weekly hit list. Even though oftentimes we're in and out the same day, I like to have the advantage or luxury if I need to hold it for a day or 2 or 3 days, so that time decay does not kick into my contract and it pays me for a winner, right? If you take report trades with me, I'm going to put report trades. If you follow the report trades that I put in, we have an 87% advantage over the last 2 years with the trades and stocks that I give you guys. But knowing that, you still have to use proper risk management, right? Anything leaps. Last year in 22, I had a 100% winning rate on the leaps, but I only give you 2 or 3 stocks per month. You're going to hold those stocks for a maximum of 3 months, but you have to buy 6 to 9 months of expiration time in order to have those odds in your favor, right? So I don't like to tell people that, because if they hear me say, well, Brandon's going to win this trade, there's going to be a time where we're going to take a loss or 2 losses. You know what I mean? So no matter what ROI I'm down, I cut it at the end of that 3rd month, right? Because I know that we have about a 92% advantage to hold that trade or get expansion in our favor in the first 3 months of whatever we put on there. And then we get out of that. Just because I buy 6 months of time, I've already bought a leap in Apple 6 months of time, and in 1 or 2 days, I was up 75% ROI. I will take that trade every day and tomorrow for the rest of my life. So just because I have that much time does not mean that I specifically hold it for that amount of time. I like to be consistently profitable. So I will gladly take that money knowing that I'm going to have more stocks to trade the following month. That is how you compound your account, right? So when I take leaps, I take 250 days and down. So I'm going to put leap trades. So the reason I put these here for you guys is when I day trade, I'm going to say I have about a 75 to 80% edge, which means 7 or 8 out of 10 trades I expect to win. Meaning I lose 3, 2, or 1 out of 10 trades, right? Sometimes I go 10 for 10, but I in this example, I'm not going to tell you that. The hit list trades, we have about an 85% probability, right? Are you noticing something yet? The shorter expiration is my smallest ROI. My weekly hit list, 85% probability. The report trades are all 87% probabilities and higher, and report trades are 92% probabilities. Well, look at that. Have you noticing something? The more time that we give it, the higher probability or the higher winning rate I specifically have. That is not random. That is how the market works. However, with that, there is a catch. Up here, you might spend $250 for one contract. The hit list, you might spend $500 for one contract, right? The report trades, you might spend $750 or maybe even $1,000, right? The leap trades, you might spend $9K. Or, I mean, and these are all going at the same at-the-money contracts, right? Now, there's ways to curb that for not risking that amount of money, but not everybody has $9K to put into a trade. Not everybody has $750 to $1,000 to put into a trade, but I know every single one of us have at least $250 to put into a trade. So what I do to curb that is if I take a leap trade, I go a little farther out of the money where I might only risk $1,000 per trade or maybe even $500 per trade. That's why I get out of the trade pretty quick, you know? That's just me. Moral of the story, the more time you have, the greater advantage that you have or edge to get out of that trade. Does that make sense with everybody? Put a DCG in the box if you guys are all following me right now. And then we're going to keep moving right along. We're going to get into the option chain right now. All right, we got a DCG in the box. We good. All right, I got a couple of them. Wait to see if we get it. All right, we got a couple. We're good. We're moving along. All right, so now this is the actual option chain, right? You see where all these dates are? If I take a trade and I say I'm taking February 3rd expiration, I simply go down here to February 3rd expiration, and then I click this arrow right there, and that'll drop that down. Just for purposes, we're going to look at tomorrow's option chain. So we're gonna do this right here. All right, here the strike. These are all like bags of chips. These bags of chips are all uniquely different. You have a specific personal favorite flavor. So do I. Some of them are better than others, right? On the left-hand side, right, you see calls. If we buy a call, and where the square is at right here, if we buy calls and the share price goes up in value, guess what? We get to make money in the stock market. On the right-hand side, where this circle's at, where it says puts, if this share price drops, guess what? We get to make money. That is why us traders, we are recession-proof if you could follow the rules and stick with the technique that continues to be beneficial over the long haul, right? You have a term here. You have your bid and ask. We kind of talked about that earlier. If we look at the 381 calls are to the left-hand side. It says $1.99 and the bid is $1.98. I have a rule here. The spread cannot be greater than 20%, right? Don't even take a trade that has a greater bid and ask of 20%. This right here, I have no problem market ordering into this trade because if I buy this for $199, so you take $1.99 and you times it by 100, and that's the dollar amount that you're going to have to trade. So if you buy one contract, it's $199. If you buy 10 contracts, it's $1,990, right? The bid is $1.98. So if I go into a trade, and who do I want to pick on? Eagle Eye. If I go into a trade and I spend one contract at $199, and Eagle Eye says, "Yo, Brandon, I'm taking you to get prime rib and lobster tail because you know that's the key to my heart. I'm going to sell it out." My $199 now turns into $198. That's not the end of the world. I lost $1. Is that smaller than the 20%? Yes, it is. All right, here's a stock that something that would be a no-no. If I scroll down here and we pick on this strike, if I buy, or we'll go to the 2160s, I could buy one contract. You take $17.60 and you times it by 100. It is $1,760 for one contract. If you buy one contract and that same instant comes, yo, Brandon, we're going to get lobster tail and prime rib. I'm saying, let's go. We're going to sell right back to the market. Your $1,700 turns into a $1,150. You almost taken like a 35 or 40% loss on that trade. That is not a situation you want to be in. Meaning that this stock has to move a substantial amount just for you to be net profit. Doesn't mean you can't win, because this stock's very volatile. It moves probably 30 or 40 points a day. So it definitely moves, like on average, like it goes up 10, 20 points, and that's no problem. So your fluctuations, right? You might go $400 or $800 for every 10-point move. So you can make money on this, but it's not something that I would trade with your money, and I wouldn't trade it with mine because of that spread. So it goes against everything that I do specifically, right? So make sure that spreads at 20% or less. Next thing you see open interest right here. This is how many people's at the party. My rule is 100 or more. If you buy into any trade that's 100 or more, there's going to be enough liquidity for you to get out of that actual position. I say that to say this. I took a trade one time that had 4 open interest. I bought it $500 in 30, 40 minutes. It was at $1,500. I closed out my trade and walked away. I get a message from my broker saying my order was canceled. I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, all right, I'll take that money. Next day I come back, it drops to 1,000. I'm still in the trade. I'm like, what the heck? Now I'm only up 100%. Anyway, it ended up selling me out of the trade about a week or so later at $250. So even though I was up 200%, it ended up selling me out at a 50% loss. That's not a good feeling. Let my mistakes be your gain. Do not make the same mistakes that I made. That is why I'm sharing it with you right now, whether you're new or experienced. I've already done that. You know what I mean? So that's not a good situation to be in. Anything that's 100 or more, you never have to worry about that. That's enough liquidity. SPY, you definitely don't have to worry about it, because you see everything here is in the thousands, right? Next to that, you see a term here that you see delta, which you might not be able to see it because the circle's there on the calls. You see the delta. This delta tells us how much we're going to make for every dollar this share price moves in our favor, or every dollar the share price moves against us. Well, if we see that the 381 calls we buy for $199 and it moves $1 in our favor, we expect to make at least $50. So if you take 50 divided by 199, it's about 25%. It's a little bit more than 25% ROI, right? That's a pretty doggone good move. 2 reasons why I like stock options. One, all right, Brandon, is the strike price like the entry point for this trade? Meaning, if you bought the strike at 381, it would execute the trade until it. That's a great question, Jared. No, the strike price is just the strike price. It is like a bag of chips. You could buy any strike price you want, no matter what the share price is up here. So you see that the share price up here is 379.38, right? I could buy the 381s, 382s, 383s, 384s, 385s. I could buy any single one of these strikes right here. Now, there's some that I wouldn't buy, but you technically could. Does that make sense?